Hi, I'm Tony, and welcome to my channel, Watch Time LA. Hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Watch Time LA. It's cool down here in Southern California. We're finally below the triple digits, and I've been able to get back out in my studio slash garage slash repair shop and finally get to another video. I'm going to try pick up the pace here a little bit if I can, keep my cadence going, and hopefully make a little bit more of a streamlined video here. Today we're going to be doing a double unboxing with my absolute favorite Seiko manufacturer, Seiko. I think if I didn't have self-restraint, I'd probably own half of the watches that they make. It seems every time I'm browsing watches and I see something that I like, I'm just browsing watches, not necessarily Seiko's, my eye gets drawn to them. I know there's some dedicated collectors out there who like a specific type of watch and only one type of watch, but like I said, I like to be a little bit more diversified in my collecting. That doesn't bode well for what I'm about to show you. I have two watches right here. The only difference in these watches is the color. They're both Seikos, they're both the exact same model. Without further ado, let me open the boxes and show you what I have here. Now, I'll just do this with one box. Typical Seiko, you have the sleeve with the cutout, shows the Seiko logo and name, which is one and the same. And you open the box, and here's what we have. The model number, by the way, on this particular one is SNKM97. And it is a gold PVD plated watch. It is a chunky watch. There's a couple of things about this watch that are absolutely not me. First, I tend to be more conservative. I don't like necessarily gaudy, and you know, I prefer understated. So it was a real stretch for me to buy this watch. It's chunky, it's big, it's bold, it's in your face, and it's really something that can't be missed. So I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, actually. So what I did is I purchased this one at the same exact time. Oops. Ta-da! It is exactly the same watch in every way except for the color of the dial and the color of the case and band. There are no differences. In fact, the model number on this one is SNKM98 as opposed to M97. And you can already see there the retail price on the watch is $265 US. That is the retail Seiko price for this watch. So I ordered both, and I said to myself, you know, I'm probably not really going to like this one at all, but I owe it to myself to try it. And I bought this one, and when I got them, I was going to send one back. That was the plan. And I was almost sure I was going to send this one back. As it turned out, I absolutely fell in love with this one. And against my own advice, this is all PVD plated. It's going to get all jacked up and the plating is going to come off. And I know that going in. However, the interesting thing is I'll only ever wear this watch with a sleeved shirt. So I don't expect the plating, too much of the plating to come off. And I go for a little bit longer shirt sleeves, so they usually stay over the watch even when I'm stretched out typing or writing. So I wound up favoring this one to the point where I wore this one regularly, and I've worn this one exactly one time. As a result of that, this watch is going to be featured very shortly on my eBay store. It was worn exactly one time. It works perfectly. It is absolutely pristine. It comes with all the tags, all the links, the warranty card, which has never been filled out. And if you go to eBay and type in Watch Time LA, you'll find my store and you'll find this watch now. It is the 22nd of September. It's not on there today, but it'll be on there within the next 2 or 3 days. And I'll have it there for, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna do an auction on this or a fixed price. We'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to show you a couple of things if you're interested in this watch. It does have a couple of very slight, in fact, that's it right there. I don't know if you can see it. There's one little line on this thing right here. I think that's it. There might be a couple of other little ones. But other than that, it's pristine, and the glass is perfect on both sides. The case is pristine. There's not a scratch on it anywhere. Absolutely perfect, like it came out of the box. Like I said, I only wore it one time. To my surprise, I wound up favoring the other watch. So, with that out of the way, here is the tag that this one came with. Actually, this one says $235 is the retail price. Not sure why the difference is. I just noticed that for the first time. There is the barcode. And Seiko normal comes with this little tag here. I try and open the bracelets, by the way, in every watch I get so I don't break the thread. It comes with a warranty registration card, which I've never filled out. And it comes with the warranty booklet and instructions. And that's pretty much it for our unboxing. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the specs on this watch. Again, this is the model SNKM97. The gold is the 7, the 8 is the all stainless steel silver. It has a tonneau shape. It has hard Lex crystal on both sides. As it is the display back. It is obviously an analog watch. It has a single fold over clasp with a lock, and the clasp happens to be signed. It is all stainless steel, as is the bracelet. It is solid stainless steel, however it does not have solid end links. It is, they say it's 43.5 millimeters, and it is chunky. I mean, it looks bigger. I'm getting 44 here. And with the crown, what are we getting? We're getting 47. So it's pretty big. They say the thickness is 11 millimeters, which is actually pretty good size. 11 millimeters. I'm getting closer to 12. And check this out. The bracelet, or the bandwidth, is 23.4. I'm not going to try and scratch this up to measure it, but I believe them. So you can squeeze a 24, I guess, in there of a different type of bracelet, but I don't know what you could possibly put on this other than possibly a NATO or a burgundy or brown leather strap. It is a heavy watch. Let's see how heavy this sucker is. 5.8, although in the specs it says 6.24. So we are finding a few discrepancies here. The lug-to-lug width on this is going to be 44. Because of the shape, it's exactly the same width both ways. The lug-to-lug and the side-to-side width are identical, which is, I guess, pretty rare. You can call it a cushion case, I guess, if you wanted to, but very similar. The watch is completely PVD coated, which means, like I said already, it's gonna stretch up pretty good. Water resistance is 165 feet. It comes with a Seiko in-house 7S26C automatic movement. Now, it has a display back, and I'll open up the watch here in a little bit so we can get a better look behind there. It is one of their standard movements. It's non-hacking, as you can see when I pull out the crown. It continues to tick, 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 and it's not a screw down crown. We have day and date, and the detents on this are perfect. I don't know if I'd say a quick date, but it's pretty darn fast. It also has the day, and that could be adjusted very quickly, and you can look how quickly the hands move around here. You probably noticed one negative about this watch already. It's because of the contrast or lack thereof. Other than the second hand, it's really hard to see the actual hands on this watch. I think just a little tad of lume would have gone a long way. If you see what they did here around some of the major indices, if they had just put a little tad of lume, it would have made a huge difference. So we have an outer chapter ring of 0 to 60, and all the major indices are applied. And for some reason, the 12, 6, 9, and the date window are outlined in some sort of white. I don't think it's lume, but we'll find out here in a minute. I really don't remember, as I've never worn this in the evening. Now, as I mentioned, the crown is not screwed down, and it's also not signed. But like everything else Seiko does, I mean, the feel of this movement is just incredible. I mean, the way the date moves, everything feels just nice and crisp. You know, there's no play in it, and you know, it just feels silk. I don't know how else to explain it, but silky smooth. Just enough resistance to make it feel like it's substantial and not a cheap quartz watch. Just feels really, really nice. So like everything they do, they just do a really good job. Now, why gold? You know, this just happens to look really good under like a burgundy shirt or a brown shirt. They call the dial brown, but in the right light, it kind of almost looks burgundy. But, you know, maybe it's just a deep chocolate brown. The gold on this is, you know, it doesn't look like real gold. I don't think you'd fool anyone thinking this is a solid gold watch. It definitely looks off from a gold piece. And I think that kind of adds to it. You know, it's not really like a Trump furniture gold, but it's, you know, it's just enough to really set it off. And I have to tell you, I've got a lot of compliments on this watch. Like most people, don't have a clue what you're wearing, how much it is, who makes it. I mean, the average person's going to know that a Rolex costs more than a Seiko, but at first glance, people, you know, they have no idea what you're wearing. And I think it wears more substantial than its price tag. That's my opinion anyway. And again, I really don't know why I got stuck with this one. Normally I would always go for the stainless steel as opposed to anything plated. I just really love this watch. I just really think it's very nicely done. I really can't find any fault with it. So as usual, I'm going to go in for some close-ups here. Give me a minute and we'll change the view for some close-ups. Okay, so here we are in our close-up view. And as we look around this particular one, we see that the Seiko word is painted on. You can see quite a bit of bleed in the letters. Sometimes it has to do with the texture of the dial. Obviously, you can't have flat paint on a textured dial, so you see a little bit of edge roughness around there. So that's to be expected. If you see this watch dial is textured, although it doesn't look like it at all to the naked eye. And as we start looking at the indices, it's plain that they have been applied. And this is something that you see in watches that don't necessarily cost a lot of money. Again, you'll never see this to the naked eye, but look at all of the discoloration, and I don't know whether, it's hard to tell, but that's obviously inside the watch. I've only worn the watch a couple of times, so this is how it was made. And the indices, you know, they're only going to get worse over time, but that's what happens when you plate something. And you can see that this is recessed into the dial a little bit, this white edge, and it's not even. You can see that it's much narrower here than it is here, and someone just didn't place that correctly. The outer chapter ring is painted on. I'll try and get a different light source on here. I got a lot of glare, unfortunately, from this crystal, but let me see if I can focus in a little better. So, you know, again, you see some, I don't know whether that's a reflection or just a bad paint job on those, on that outer chapter ring. A little disappointment, right? You don't see this when you're not looking closely. Let's take a look at the hand. Sometimes you'll see some of that same, and you can see that clearly here if I get the angle right on this light, I hope. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, you can see the same type of poor craftsmanship, or maybe just part supply on this, with those little marks all over the hands. And it's really hard to do this and compensate for the glare, but you can see the same thing on the minute hand. Now you can see, even at an extreme close-up, other than the glare, the hands are almost exactly the same color as the dial. If they had put some lume in these grooves, boy, what a difference it would have made. So I saw something else just now. Look at the 6 o'clock. Look right there, and you're going to see we have the same exact problem. You see how that is not set? I guess it's 100% centered here, but it looks like the dial might be off just a little bit, because the distance between here and here and here and here is different. Now I noticed one other thing with the naked eye. I'm going to see if that is actually the case. So here, well, actually it doesn't look so bad. I was looking at the distance between here and here and here and here. Now I don't understand why they didn't kind of like put another deal around here. I don't know what the purpose of that is, why they did that. But you see the trim around here, the escutcheon, if you will, is also all kind of pitted and barked. Now, unless that's what they were going for, but I sincerely doubt it. And if we look at the day, and then sometimes you'll find that these are extremely well painted on with a very smooth, and sometimes they're not. Look how, let's see if we can focus in on that. Yeah, look at all the bleed on that day. And you can see the gap in between the day and the date, which is, you know, you can see it on some watches, but this one's pretty pronounced. And what else does it say here? It says automatic. And there's your movement number. So real quickly, I'm gonna go on the finish here, see if we can get a better shot of that. A little more light maybe. I'm dealing with a lot of glare here, so bear with me. So it's brushed stainless steel, and then it was plated on top of it. Now the plating must be fairly thin. Yeah, it must be fairly thin. Otherwise you wouldn't see that brush finish so pronounced. As far as the bracelet goes, that's the polished edge. Now on the magnification, it doesn't look so polished, does it? And then there's the brushed edges. And this is what happens. Now I've only worn this watch a few times, but this is what happens. And there's really nothing you could do about it. If you try and polish this, you'll just take this gold plating right off. So all you do is, you know, wait till I guess it gets bad enough and maybe change the band. Okay, let's flip this puppy over. Okay, so here we are. I got lucky today and didn't have to pop off the back because we have a display case. Yay. I've seen a lot of Seiko movements, and I can tell you that they spent a little extra time on this movement, dressing it up. The rotor is much better finished than most of the ones they have in a non-display case watches. So they did do that. I think they may have put a little fancier balance wheel in here, if I can find it. Got to be there somewhere. Oh, it's covered by the rotor, knucklehead. So I think they may have, yeah, I think even the bridge there that's holding the balance wheel on is a little bit cleaner. I mean, they've done a little bit better. Normally you see X's and all kinds of weird marks all over that, and you don't see that here, which is good. The glass here obviously has the 5-bar. This is written on the inside with some sort of epoxy type paint. The movement, there you go, made in Malaysia. Okay, messing with the white balance again, and hopefully this is a little better. The rotor even says Malaysia on it. Seiko Time Corp. Like I said earlier, they did a little bit of a cleanup job on this. Normally these rotors and some of these bridges are really, really nasty looking. I think they've even, a couple of these gears, well, that one doesn't look so good. But yeah, it's a little bit better. The screws, everything looks a little bit better than it normally does on a Seiko that does not have an open case back. Okay, we're going to take a quick look at the case in the back here, because sometimes the finishing is not as good as it is on the front. And here's a perfect example. I'm just going to make sure that's not dirt, which it might be. You might forgive me. Yeah, okay. So that was because I wear hand lotion all the time, and I forgot to clean this one. But you could see some of the bubbles in the plating here, or in the case itself. It will peel off at some point. Okay, now here you go again. There's some pitting. And now you can see, of course, the fold over clasps and the spring bar. By the way, I work with a lot of watches, and this lotion issue I see on, especially on women's watches, but unfortunately this one's mine. There you go. I really have to clean these up. They will start corroding. If you have a watch that's especially a plated watch, it will make the plating come off quicker because lotion has a lot of water in it. Make sure you clean your watches before you put them away. Do as I say, not as I do. And I forgot to mention, this is a screwed down case back. Okay, we're going to turn it around, wrap this up. So just before we wrap this up, little business here. Well, actually, first I wanted to show you what this watch looks like on their wrist with a maroon shirt. Looks absolutely gorgeous. And there's some of the other collection watches. By the way, if you go to Watch Time LA and fill out the form with your email address, I will reply back to you so you can send me your wrist shot. I will post it right up here on my website. I'll change them regularly. Yours will be up there for as long as it takes. I'm just starting out on the website, so it might be up there for quite a while. Send me your wrist shots, and I'll put your name in the picture, if you want it, or just put like JM or whatever you want to put there, and I'll post it up on my website. But take a look at that watch, it looks great. Also, please support the channel if you're looking for an inexpensive watch for yourself or a friend. Very inexpensive watch. Check out my eBay store, Watch Time LA eBay store. I have all kinds of watches. I have a Seiko on there right now. I also will have this other silver cased Seiko for sale in the upcoming days. I have all kinds of fashion watches and a couple of vintage vintage mechanical Timex, and all kinds of things on there. My old motorcycle jacket. So please stop by, take a look. This is what supports the channel. And please remember that these videos take quite a lot of time. And I do these videos, I put them together, there's a lot of post-production, and then uploading, tagging, and doing all this other stuff. So it's really important if you could help me out. Please subscribe, and I will keep doing these. And by the way, you'll see links for these watches in the show notes, as well as a link to my eBay store. So please check them both out and help the channel a bit if you can. So quick wristwatch check. I have my Citizen Eco Drive Pro Master. I love this watch. I'll put a link right here to the review I did on this. And if you go to Amazon, I'll have a link to this one as well in my show notes. I did a pretty in-depth review there too. And this is actually one of my highest rated videos. So go ahead and check out the Citizen and let me know what you think about that. In the meantime, let me do a quick swap here and show you a wrist shot of this. Now I have a 7¼ inch wrist, so it doesn't look too big. It sits very flat on my wrist, even though it's a big square chunk of stainless steel. Love the way it looks. I would not wear this. I can't think of any reason I would wear it without a dress shirt. But there's a couple of different dress shirts I have that this is always my go-to watch. Every time I wear a burgundy shirt, this is the watch I wear. Absolutely love it. So once again, I hope you liked the video. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the show notes. If there's a specific watch you would like me to review, even if it's your own, and you want to take the chance of sending a guy you don't know a watch to review, I'll be happy to do it. One other thing you should note is that I didn't do a lume shot on this particular watch because there is no lume at all. It's just the hands, those white things that you see there are just white. And there's no luminescence whatsoever. Really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please help me out and subscribe. Talk to you later.